Okay, so in this video, I'm going to show you guys how to actually add, what you've done, all your views, any views that you've had to your sheets, and it's actually the same thing, same way to do it for every single view, no matter if it's a section, elevation, if you have a drafting view, it's the same thing. It's the same process if you ever wanted to do a legend or a schedule onto a view, which I'll show as well. But the first thing I want to show is, so if you click on, the preliminary schematic design category under the sheets, you notice that when you click on one, it's basically just a blank page. That's it says 22 by 34, but I've made it a 24 by 36. The typical D size sheet, that most of you use for pinups. So this is your kind of, your D size sheets that you can use as a blank page to put your pinup stuff on, for presentations. I know for the kiosk stuff, it was either 8.5 by 11 or 11 by 17 sheets that they're going to want you to put something on. So you could always switch this, to 11 by 17, and then obviously we could always edit it, and if you edit its family, which the button was up there. So let me go back and show you. So if you click on this and hit edit family, it opens the family file of that, and then this is where you can click on it and you can change the dimensions into it. So I can make this 8.5 by 11, and then you would hit load into project and close, and then I'll load it in. But first, like if you did it that way, first what you want to do is you want to edit type and probably duplicate it, and then maybe say like 8.5 by 11, and then hit OK, and then edit the family, and then you can do, depending on what direction that you want. Oops. That's another little thing to let you know. If you just type in 11, like say a number, Revit automatically goes by feet. But if it was going to be feet, you can just type 11. But if you want it to be inches, you have to put the inch symbol. And then I can do 8.5. And then when you want to do load into project, it's going to ask you if you want to save. Say no, because this is going to overwrite in the context library that I showed you. It'll override this, this file, and you don't want to do that because you want it to be kind of the same throughout. But it will override it in the file itself. So you can see now this is an 8.5 by 11, and you can always, rotate this if you need to. But I'm gonna set it back to the 24 by 36, and the same with the 25 by 36. You can rotate it as well. And then if we look at basically any type of the construction document ones, you'll see that there's a title block. And you notice that, in the Manage tab, I showed you the project information with the name and the address. You can see that the name comes in here. And, the addresses are repopulated. The rest of this stuff is actually, this sheet on number and name is actually by this stuff. So this A100, and then whatever you name it, whatever this name is, it will show up there. But then you can see stuff by, course number or author. What you can do for those is if you actually click on the sheet itself, you can actually do one of two things. You can kind of click where it says author, about like twice, a couple times, and then you can actually put right in your name, and then you can just do the same for pretty much any of the ones. The other thing that you can do is you can see, if you just click on the title block itself, this is, again, I've done this with parameters, and that's why, I told you just to ignore parameters. There's a drawn by category, which, is, you can see it by whatever's already there, so I can change that and it'll update it. This is course number, which I believe was, might be in here. I forget where this one is, but again, you can just click on that, and I'll change this for you guys, so it's already, it'll already be there. that's the same. And then whatever professor you have, you put in this number in the spot, which I believe professor should be there as well. If it's not showing up here, like I said, the best thing that you can do is if you just click in that space, you can put in whatever it is, or whoever your professor is. That's just like a symbol that stays. The date is actually, I believe that date is going to be this one. So this project issue date is that, so whatever date that you want, if you change it here, it'll change on all of them. And then the same with the sheet number and stuff, you can just, click on it. Scale comes in automatically for whatever view that you drag in, which I'll show you in a minute. So that's kind of just like quickly how you can start to manipulate the title block. I don't know why those, I may have something that's not showing, but I'll look into it and see. But like I said, stuff should others. So actually, that was my fault. Don't actually click on the title block. Just leave. Don't have anything clicked. Just be in the view itself. So you have the properties for the view, and then this is where you have everything now. So you can see, I have the architectural cover professors. So I changed that one to a question mark. So that's there. The studio, the name, sheet number, sheet total number. So that's whatever sheet you are, and then total number would be the total. So yeah, so if you could click on it, then you kind of just get the drawn by. Whereas if you just off of it, then you'll get all the parameters that I've had set up. The kind of thing that happens there is, now if I go to another one, I kind of have to set up. See how it's still blank. I still have to set it up. But the only good thing about that is once you type it in for one, so you can see drawn by, I have a drop down menu now, so I can easily just change it, to whatever. So like the same for the course number, I can just make it 306. And then the same for professors, whatever the whoever your professor is for your specific section. There's now a drop down menu that you can use to put in, to put in anything, and then this is kind of the name. It's actually grant, I believe. This is a grant through the Red program, real estate program. But as you guys are doing your project, you probably will give it a specific name, for your own, each project for each of your groups. So that's how you work with the title blocks. But again, the title blocks won't be till later on in the semester. Now you'll probably just be working with the stuff in the preliminary design. But to get, and what I'm going to be showing you now works for both types of, either the title blocks here or either the sheets here or the sheets in for the construction documents. If you want this view, and actually I'm going to put some walls in just so we can see it actually come through. But say I want this view, I want to put this, first floor under the preliminary schematic design, which is 4. I want to put that in the full, in this sheet. What you do is you click on that sheet, so the sheet's open, and then all you do is just click once on the view that you want to bring over, and then you just drag and drop it. And now that, that view is now on that sheet to be printed. And then you can notice here, I can change the scale, and it updates automatically right on the sheet itself, no matter what it is. And then you also notice, like I changed that to 3/16. If I go back to this view, it changed that to 3/16 as well. So everything's always connected. If you change it one place, it's always going to change it in another. So that's pretty much how. And then you can see once I put something on there, there's a plus sign, so I can expand that to see what actually views are on that sheet. So that's pretty much. However, that's the basic stuff. It's basically just drag and dropping. It's a lot easier than AutoCAD. Same for the schedule one. That sheet list that I created, I can just drag and drop it, put it right on a sheet, and now you have a sheet list. So that's kind of good for when you do when you do when you're doing your construction documents, because you always like to have a sheet list on your cover sheets for your construction document. I did want to show you. I'm just going to use the same view since I already have it set up. I'm just going to show you how when I drag and drop and put this view on, it automatically updates the scale. And then if you have multiple scales, like say I had another view that was 1 inch equals a foot, it would just say scale as shown, and that's when you would just label the scales for each drawing. So that's pretty much sheets. They're very simple to do, a lot better than AutoCAD. To print a sheet, what you do is you go to the menu bar, you hit print, and then I recommend always printing the PDF. You can see here I do have the printers and the plotters set up. But if you do print to a printer or a plotter, depending on the size of your sheet and your file size, a lot of times it will crash. Particularly the plotters. A lot of times the printers will be okay, but it will crash the plotters. So I always recommend printing to PDF first, and then going printing from PDF into the plotters. So when you want to click a sheet, what you do here is you select you click this radio button, hit select, and then you can see here you have views. So any view that you have, you can select to print, or you have sheets that you can select to print. If you uncheck views, it'll give you all the sheets that you have in the project. And you can select as many as you want to print. You can select all of them if you want to print all at once. And then select OK. I usually just hit no. So this allows you to combine stuff. So I selected 8 sheets, which you can see here I have, or 7 if I select all 8 for under the preliminary one. So I have 8 sheets. If I want to combine them all into one, I would leave that. So basically when it prints the PDF, they will all come in one PDF file, or I can create separate files for each one. For them, if you have a really big number of sheets, I would recommend printing them to separate files for plotting purposes, because if you send a PDF with like 8 pages to the plotter, it's probably going to crash as well. But if it's just something that you want for your files to save on your computer, you can always combine it so it's just one PDF for all 8 drawings. After you set this up, you go to set. You click on the setup button, and this is where you pick the sheet size. So if you have, if you're doing an arch, if you're doing a 24 by 36, which I have, you would hit Arch D. You always hit zoom, so it's 100%. So it comes out at true size, and then center, so it's centered. Depending on if it's portrait or landscape, you can you pick those. Sometimes you have to, this is why I like to PDF as well, because you know how in AutoCAD you can do a print preview. You can't do that, unfortunately, in Revit. So my print preview is printed to PDF first, so that's why I again like to print to PDF first, because it gives me a quick preview of what it's going to look like. And then here you can kind of pick a quality if you want a different quality that you want. And then you would you just hit OK, and then it'll print it to PDF, and you print. So printing is pretty easy to do. You can see here there's a preview, but I've never seen it where it's active, so I don't know how you actually get a preview. Like if you actually do like a current window, you can do a preview to see what it's going to look like. But when you're actually printing sheets or selected, like when you switch to selected views, I think maybe if you selected one, it may give you a preview. No, it doesn't even give you a preview for that. So that's kind of like so that's why I said I like to use PDF as a preview. So that's it for printing. I find it a lot easier than AutoCAD. For those of you that use AutoCAD and the layout tabs, it's kind of to be a pain. And that's it for tutorial A.